Hello and welcome to the Fit and Free podcast. This is a podcast for women who want it all, to feel strong and confident in their bodies, as well as enjoying a sneaky mug on a Friday night. I'm an exercise physiologist and sports nutritionist, here to teach you how to achieve your body goals without food and your body controlling your life. So let's jump in. Hello you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Fit and Free Potty. It feels so good to be sitting down and recording an episode. It feels like it's been so long since I've been talking to you guys, so I'm so excited. So first I want to give you a little bit of a life update and what's been going on behind the scenes, and then I've got such a juicy episode because we're going back in time and I am going to tell you a beautiful story about the time that I gave up chocolate, and I'm going to explain what happened when I did that. But first, oh my God, so many exciting things have been happening behind the scenes inside the Fit and Free Academy. So if you do not know, if you're living under a rock, the Fit and Free Academy officially launched 2 weeks ago. And if you don't know, it's my signature coaching program where it really helps you heal your relationship with food and ultimately learn how to actually fuel your body correctly without having to track calories and stress and all the things. And at the same time, working towards your body composition goals. I am a firm believer that you do not have to give up your body composition goals if you need to heal your relationship with food. I truly believe that you get to do both. But at the same time, fat loss specifically just has to be on the back burner, because if you are thinking about food all the freaking time, you're binge eating, you're losing control, you've got no energy, you've been eating in a calorie deficit for more than 6 months, and you've got imbalance in your hormones, it's like, guys, eating in a calorie deficit is literally the worst thing that you can possibly do, not only for your health, for your metabolism, but also your psychological well-being. So I love the work that I do because it really does help change women's lives. Like, it's so much more than just a nutrition and exercise program. It is a complete transformation in terms of mindset, relationship with food, getting strong, and all the bits, so that the women are really truly walking away with so much confidence in and around food, understanding nutrition, understanding training, and ultimately how to see change and results in their body in a really sustainable way. So I love it. And literally only it's 2 weeks into the program, and the feedback has been so good in terms of these women have been struggling with food for years, and after just 2 weeks they're like, oh my God, I just went out with my family and enjoyed food without feeling guilt and without feeling shame about it. And oh my God, I'm actually feeling full and satisfied at the end of the day, instead of craving all of these sweets. And things like, I'm already feeling change within my body. I'm feeling so well fueled, and my body it's feeling better from the extra calories. So it's I'm so excited about it, and I love it so much because once you, I always say that once you have a healthy relationship with food and you know how to fuel your body correctly, once you have a solid mindset, once you're no longer cutting out foods because you're afraid, once you're saving calories just in case you run out later. Once you realize that, it's all this mental restriction, it's this dieter mentality that is actually cock-blocking you from reaching your body composition goals, health and fitness becomes fucking fun again. Because it then becomes a space where you start to feel fucking phenomenal, because you get stronger, you got more energy, you feel like yourself again, you're not obsessing about every last thing that you put in your mouth. And it's just you've got so much more time, energy for things in your life that actually fucking matter, like building a business, getting a promotion at work, going on a holiday, right? Things that actually light us up and fulfill us, instead of stressing every 2 seconds about our body and how much weight we've gained. So the doors of the Fit and Free Academy only open 4 times a year, because it's a set structure and it's a set program that we work through. It's not just a exercise plan and a meal plan. Of course, all of that is included and it's all personalized to you, but there's a core structure that we follow, and it's the mindset work that is the most transformational thing that are 95% of fitness coaches are not giving you, and ultimately that is really the key for the success. So Of course, the doors open. They will be opening again one more time this year. They open 6 weeks out. So in a couple of weeks, in 4 more weeks, the doors will be open for enrollment for the next round. But for now, you guys just gonna have to wait. So that's been going on, and I've been absolutely, I love it so much. The women in there are amazing. And the community, it's just such a vibe. And then I'm moving to Bali. And if you're listening to this, I'm already in Bali, which is super exciting for me. We have lived in Bali before. I lived there for 9 months, just post-COVID, which was really awesome. But so I'm really excited to go back. I just love Bali so much because it's just such a beautiful lifestyle in terms of the food. There's good surf for meals. For me, I dabble with the surf. Like, I like to surf if I have friends, but other than that, it's more so for meals. And then like amazing food, really good like yoga, Pilates, like the fitness scene over there is just like so good. And so I'm so excited to get over there and start moving my body in different ways and just enjoying the freedom and enjoying the flexibility that it brings. I'm in the south coast of New South Wales at the moment, and it's fucking freezing. Oh my God. I went for a walk this morning and I left the house and I was wearing a jumper, and then I had to come back home after walking for 30 meters because I was like, I'm too fucking cold. So I had to come home, put on an extra jacket and put on gloves, and I was like, holy shit. I'm so ready for winter to be over. So I'm craving the sun, I'm craving the salt, I'm craving the vitamin D. So I'm just so excited about the move. So today, it's Friday. I have to, I'm finishing off. I've done all my check-ins for the week with the Fit and Free Academy girls. Now I'm sitting down and recording some content for you guys, and then I have to pack up my life. So I've already started packing, but I have to pack up my desk and my computer and all of the things. Low-key, to be completely honest, I'm a little bit low-key sad because I've been living with my mum for the last 9 months, and I haven't lived with her since I was a kid. I moved out of home initially when I was 18. I went straight out of high school and I went straight to university. I moved to Sydney, and then from Sydney I then moved to the Sunshine Coast, and I spent 10 years of my life there. So actually coming back home and spending 9 months or 10 months now with my mum has actually been just so nice, just because I lived, I was in Queensland before that, and so I would only see my mum maybe twice or 3 times a year. So to spend this time with her, it's actually just been so nice. And I always said that I want to be able to work from wherever. I wanted to be remote so that I can move around and definitely come home and spend time with my mum. And I already did that. And sometimes it's just so cool to stop and reflect on all the stuff that you really have achieved. But yeah, to be honest, it's going to be sad leaving, saying goodbye, because now I don't know what's next. I don't know what the plan is. I know obviously we're going to Bali, and then from Bali we're going to Europe. We're doing a European winter, which I'm so excited about. I love winter. It's just such a vibe. I'm such a Christmas girly. It's the best time of the year. So I'm excited to experience Christmas markets and things like that. Just having a cold Christmas, because obviously in Australia we're not used to that. So that's going to be an absolute vibe. But then I don't know what's next, which is super exciting. We definitely do want to end back up in the Sunshine Coast for sure. We're definitely going to move back there maybe next year, but I do have a little bit more travel plans. I definitely want to go to America. I had a dream about it last night, so it's really real that I really definitely want to do that, which is exciting. I'm so cliche, but I really want to go to Disneyland, and I want to go to Universal Studios, and I just want to experience America, because to me it's a movie, because I obviously grew up watching a lot of American TV shows and a lot of American movies, so to me it's nostalgic. And then guilty pleasure, I'm fucking obsessed with the Kardashians. Like, oh my God. I just think Kim K is just like, she's a fucking sick businesswoman. Like, and if you don't think so, like, you're delusional, because she's so successful, and she's just such a queen when it comes to social media marketing, brand building. So anyway, I digress there. But the point is that I really want to go over to the States, and also must mention, like, Sex and the City fan, like, grew up watching it. It's my comfort show. I think I've watched the whole season. Like, I don't even want to know how many times now. Like, I went on a cruise ages ago, couple of years, like, I don't know, 8 years ago, and there was Sex and the City trivia, and I fucking won it, because I was like, I'm not competitive at all. Lol jokes, most competitive person I know. But point is, I definitely also want to go to New York City for that reason as well. Just experience my Sex and the City alive. So that is an absolute vibe. So that's all in the works, which is super, super exciting. And it just, it just makes me so motivated and excited to keep going and keep showing up. And yeah, just really having that vision of what I want my life to look like, to honestly just keep me motivated in all areas of my life. So I love my vision boarding. I love all that. And it's just so crazy that a lot of it is coming true. So yay, so good. Anyway, so that's a bit of a life update. Also, I know for a fact that I have spoken to so many of you guys over the last couple of weeks, because the way that the Fit and Free Academy is set up is I love to do compatibility calls just to make sure that you guys are the right fit to come into the coaching program. I definitely, it's not for everyone, and I'm so okay with that, because it's a very specific program, right? So that's why I love talking to you guys, to make sure that we're a right fit, we're good to work together, and so that I get to know you as well, because the best coaching containers are the ones that are honest, and the ones that I create good relationships with my clients. The best way to do that, honestly, is through really good communication. So talking face to face is like one of the main reasons why I do those compatibility calls, just to see if we're a good vibe, because at the end of the day, like, if you can't trust your coach, you're not going to be honest with them. So that's why it's really important to making sure that it's a good fit and it's a good vibe. But in saying that, I know a lot of you are listening to this podcast and you still haven't written a review. So now I'm going to pause, and I would love it if you haven't written a review yet. Like, honestly, guys, it really, really does help me grow this podcast. And obviously, it's my mission to help people be free from food, fuel their bodies correctly, and get strong as fuck in the gym. Like, if you're enjoying these episodes, if you can just do a little value exchange and just stop, open up Apple Podcasts, all you have to do is open the Fit and Free Academy and then scroll down to the bottom, and there's a place that you can leave a review, even if you just do 5 stars, of course, but even if you could write your biggest takeaway, and they do not go unnoticed. I love hearing your feedback. I love you guys when you send me a DM or when you write a review. It really, I feel so grateful, and that's why I do it, guys. I know how it feels for your life literally to be controlled and consumed by food and exercise and your body. I've been there. I lived 26 years of my life that way, and I don't want you guys to be suffering anymore. I don't want you guys to be passing on your negative relationship with food to your kids, or your negative relationship with your body image to your kids. It's all of this stuff can be fixed once you do the work, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. But anyway, so if you can, please just pause, write that little review, because that really, really, honestly, it does help me help others. So I would appreciate that. So that actually is a perfect segue into today's episode, speaking of poor relationships with food. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story to get us back into the podcasting land, because it's been I've had a bit of a break, but I thought it would be cool just to go back in time a little bit and tell you a little bit of a story about my own experience of when I was in my dieting era or my restricted era. Because you might look at me now and look on social media or whatever and being oh my God, she's got her shit together, she is just eating this food, and she is there's no guilt or shame associated with it anymore, and it's she's confident in the gym and all of this stuff, but guys, I didn't used to be like that. I honestly, and this is why I love telling my story, it's just like, I was fucking terrified of food. I had the worst relationship with food. A lot of the things I was doing, I didn't even realize were cock blocking me from actually achieving my body composition goals. But like my sense of self-worth, and I'll circle back, is like my sense of self-worth was so bad. Like I only believed I was good enough if I was fit, lean, and toned. So of course I had a poor relationship with food because I had so much worth and value and confidence tied into what I looked like. And so therefore, like my relationship with food used to be so bad. So bad. And this is why I wanted to tell you this story, is because so many people think what I thought. And I thought I had to cut out all of these foods. I thought I had to eat clean. I thought I had to cut out carbohydrates. I thought I wasn't even allowed to have a milky coffee. Like I would only have a black coffee. And I thought it was my lack of willpower and my lack of discipline. But it was lack of nutritional knowledge paired with a poor relationship with food was the real reason why I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted in my body. So this is why I wanted to tell you my story of my era of going through having this dieting mentality and all of these rules and restrictions. And I want to tell you what happened when I was going through this phase of when I told myself that I wasn't allowed to have chocolate. So I want to rewind back to, okay, I went through a lot of restriction. I joined a group fitness gym where I would do those challenges where I would just do the shred program, drop my calories really low, eat really healthy, train a lot, and then, lose weight. And then because I actually wasn't even taught anything, I wasn't taught about actually how to fuel my body correctly. It was just follow this meal plan. Of course, the results they never last. They never were sustainable. So I did that for a long time. And then finally, I started working with a coach. And this coach, again, they gave me a really strict meal plan. And in that strict meal plan, I wasn't allowed to have dessert. So therefore, I wasn't allowed to eat chocolate. And so what did I do? I gave up chocolate for 12 weeks. And initially it's always yeah, it's fine. I'm so excited about losing weight and I'm so excited about working with a new coach and I'm so excited about everything. So initially it was like, oh yeah, cool. I can do this, whatever. This is fine. So I did. I told myself that I had to follow this strictly, perfectly. And I told myself, therefore, I wasn't allowed to have chocolate. So what happened? What happened when I gave up chocolate? Initially, it was fine. Okay, let's move forward about probably 6 weeks where I can't stop thinking about chocolate. And this was the hardest bit, right? I would get into these headspaces and I'd be like, fuck, I really just want to have some chocolate. I would crave things like a Kit Kat Chunky or just dairy milk chocolate or Top Deck or the coconut rough. I love chocolate, as you can tell. So what did cutting it out really do? What it did is I turned into this craving machine. I couldn't stop thinking about chocolate. And then it was the classic battle that I would always have with myself every single fucking evening. And then I remember going through this coaching program and then, the mindset component of that it was teaching you how to be more disciplined to not allow yourself to eat it. So that was the coaching in and around the program of being more disciplined. However, it was the restriction mentality and not being allowed to have chocolate that was causing the cravings, which was causing me to not stop thinking about it. So it was that constant, back and forth, being like, oh, I really want this. No, you can't have it. I really want this. No, you can't have it. And a lot of the time I was so good, and I don't want to say I was so good, but a lot of the time, I would be really strict and be disciplined on myself, but that never stopped the problem of thinking about it all the fucking time. Then because of this crazy restriction of not only just, not being allowed to have chocolate in my meal plan. Obviously, I'm following a strict vegan meal plan. There's a lot of other food that I wasn't allowed to eat. Then because I started losing weight and I started seeing results, what did that then do? I then thought to myself, I can't have chocolate, because if I have chocolate, I'm going to undo my progress. I'm going to gain weight. And then, of course, what did it do? Therefore, because I created these rules and restrictions, I started feeling fucking guilty if I did have some chocolate. Oh, every Wednesday, love these. This is when I was working as an exercise physiologist in the rehab space. Is every Wednesday I would train this group class, and there was two 70-year-olds, and I fucking love them so much. But Kev Dog would always bring me baked goods on a Wednesday, and he knew. He would always make me brownies. God bless him. I fucking loved him. So every Wednesday he would bring in brownies, and then I would say no to eating these brownies because of this thing that I was following where I wasn't allowed to have chocolate. So, but then there was this one specific time, this one specific memory that I remember, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to have it. What happened in that situation? I wouldn't classify myself as a binge eater, but there was some certain situations where in this instant, I was like, fuck. The brownies came in, they were warm, they had fresh icing sugar on them, and I was like, oh my God, I really fucking want one. So, but of course, initially I was like, no, Laura, you can't have it. It's not in your meal plan. So then, eventually, I gave in. I gave in on the chocolate, on the brownies, and I ate one. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Then I went out, I taught my class. This is when I had to teach 4 classes back to back in the afternoon. So I'd go back out, teach my class. The class would finish. I couldn't stop thinking about the brownie that I just ate. And then it's again the back and forth and being like, oh my God, I don't want it. Oh my God, I really want it. No, you can't have it. I really want it. What ended up happening? Lost the fucking battle, had another brownie. Felt really shit about it. And I was like, oh my God, I've just undone everything. Then I went back out and taught my class. And in the class, we have exercise bikes. So what did I do? I got on the exercise bike and started burning off the brownie, quote unquote, that I just ate. I had this reactive, compensative response to eating this food by working it off. Then, of course, again, I couldn't stop thinking about the brownie that I've eaten 2 of already. And then I go into justification. Okay, well, I've already had 2. I may as well have another one. It's already fucked. So what did I do? I had another brownie, right? So then, of course, you've had 3 brownies. You feel really fucking guilty. You feel really shit about it. So then what do you do to make yourself feel better? You say, okay, I'm just going to do extra exercise. I'll just eat less tomorrow and everything is going to be fine. Even though then you get fixated on it. You can't stop thinking about the shit that you just did and feel really guilty and feel really a lot of shame in and around it. In this instance, you guys, the reason why this happened to me is because I wasn't allowing myself to eat brownies. I wasn't allowing myself to eat chocolate on a daily basis. It was the restriction mindset that causes that, right? Then, which is ultimately signs you have an unhealthy relationship with food, right? And then what else happened during this time is okay, cool. Because of this strict meal plan, because I wasn't eating chocolate, so much more stuff happened during this phase of my life. It wasn't just about, thinking about chocolate all the time. I then became really fucking obsessed with food. So much so that it would be all I would talk about. I was notorious for being at my work, everyone would know, I would be talking about food in the Pilates class, or I would always be asking people what they're having for dinner, because I was just always so fixated on what other people were eating, what I was eating, because it was a sign. That's actually a sign that preoccupation with food is actually a sign that you've been under eating for a good portion of your time. Also, is coming from a place of restriction. If you're restricting yourself to have all these amazing foods, you live through other people's experience because you're a fucking foodie. You love food. I love food. And that's what I was doing. I was utilizing other people's experiences and their excitement I was getting excited for them to be like, oh, that would be so good. I would love to be eating that. But secretly, no one really knew that I was actually going home and making for my dinner was like a protein source and heaps of veggies. No carbohydrates, no fats, just really, really clean and healthy. Right? And this is what happens is when you're so restricted and when you have a poor relationship with food is these things happen and you don't even realize it. So eventually after this challenge ended, when I started allowing myself to eat chocolate again, then yeah, of course, I went through a phase of feeling really fucking guilty. Like the coaching container ended, the meal plan ended, and then I was lost because I was actually not taught on how to actually fuel my body correctly. All I was taught was follow this strict meal plan, not eat out and cut out all your favorite things. So of course, what the fuck was I supposed to do after it all ended? I was terrified of eating out. I was terrified of eating sweets. I didn't know how to navigate that. I didn't know how to eat properly. Had all of these rules and restrictions in my head. I was so terrified of eating too much. I didn't know what it felt like to be hungry or full because I had been restricting myself for so long. I've been suppressing my hunger and fullness cues for so long. I just didn't know what it felt like. And it was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute mess. I didn't have my period as well. That was the time when I had hypothalamic amenorrhea. So and it breaks my heart that so many people are having to go through this in their fitness journey, when your fitness journey does not need to be like that. It needs to, I'm a firm believer in you have to enjoy your food in order to be successful. And you can easily fit chocolate into a calorie deficit or maintenance so fucking easily. And that's the problem. It's like people are not, they're giving nutrition advice, but they're not even considering what people like to eat. And if you're not eating the food that you love, then of course you're going to fall into these really poor, you're going to fall into a space where you have a poor relationship with food. And this is the real problem, is because if you don't know how to navigate eating out, you don't know how to navigate eating chocolate, you don't know how to navigate eating the foods you love, because the only way you know how to see a result is through restriction, then you obviously don't understand nutrition. Just like me, I didn't understand nutrition. I didn't understand nutritional phases. I didn't understand portion sizes. I didn't understand how to fuel my body. And paired that with all of the rules and restrictions that I had. I can't eat carbs because they're going to make me gain weight. I can't have, I have to have a black coffee to save calories. I can't eat too many calories, right? I had so many rules in and around food that then also stopped me from being able to actually fuel my body in the way that it needs to. And that's why I always talk about, guys, you need to have a healthy relationship with food in terms of your mindset, as well as understanding nutrition as a whole, to be able to actually fuel your body correctly. So then eventually what I personally did, so how did I fix this? How did I be okay again now with eating chocolate? Was I had to learn how to build a healthy relationship with food. And what that means is learning how to incorporate chocolate on a daily basis. Learn how to understand that chocolate is just a fat. Okay, cool. Your body needs a certain amount of fats a day. Include that as your fat. That's what it gets to be. And then what I had to do is I had to unpack all of my rules and restrictions that I had in and around food. One of my biggest things was eating too much. I was so afraid of eating X amount of calories. So for me, because I'm an active person, it's I can eat so much food without gaining weight. And a lot of females can, especially if you're training 4+ times a week. If you're doing cardio, on top of that, you're doing your 10,000 steps. It's you guys, you can eat so much. And if we have this mindset of I can't eat over 2,000 calories, then you're not going to be able to fuel your body correctly, because you're going to listen to your head instead of actually listening to your body. And this is where so many people get it wrong and make the mistake. And they actually are not fueling their body and because they're afraid of how much they can actually eat. But if you keep basing your nutrition off fear and not actual facts, then you're never going to be successful, because ultimately you're always going to be under eating. Then what happens? Every time you under eat, you get really hungry, you think about food, your energy drops, your metabolism downregulates, your hormones become unbalanced, you get to the evening and you're fucking starving and you're so terrified of running out of calories. then, you are potentially at risk of overeating, binge eating, so many problems when you're constantly in this fucking restriction mindset. And it's all coming from our heads, and it's not coming from our body. It's not just strategy. That's what so many people need to understand. So this is where I had to learn how to fuel my body correctly in terms of strategy, making sure I was eating enough carbs, fats, and proteins, then removing the rules and the restrictions and giving myself permission to eat, giving myself actual permission to eat what I want when I wanted it. Because you'll hear me say this all the time, it's when you actually give yourself permission to eat. Not say, yeah, I'm going to eat carbs. It's like, no, if you feel like a donut, you give yourself permission to have the donut and enjoy it and actually eat it, right? Because when you do actually give yourself permission to eat all foods, the novelty of eating these foods actually does wear off. And that's why I'm really excited about, I'm going to Bali, and I'm going to probably be eating out for lunch and dinner every single day. And I know that would terrify a lot of people, but for me, I'm fucking stoked about it because number one, I don't have to cook. But because I've got so much trust in myself, I know when I'm hungry, I know when I'm full and satisfied, I know how to balance my plate, I know how to fuel my body correctly. It's like, I'm fucking looking forward to it instead of being scared of it. And that's what it gets to be once you understand how to do this. And that's why it's so, so important. So if you are working with a coach who has told you to cut out a food group that you love, fucking tell them or ask them, how do I include this? Can you please teach me how to include this? Because you don't have to cut out anything. And if you cut out things that you love, then you're probably going to end up like me, and you're going to be stuck in this vicious cycle of restricting yourself and then potentially overeating and then being so obsessed with food and then being so terrified to eat more because you don't want to gain weight. And I don't want anyone to be in that space because it's not fun. It's so controlling and it's also consuming. So my loves, I really hope this has opened your eyes to realize that nutrition is more complex than just carbs, fats, proteins. It's more than just calories in, calories out. There's a lot of psychological components when it comes to eating and fueling your body correctly. And if restriction is the only way to getting lean, then you don't understand nutrition, and you have to build the skill. And if you're doing things like you make up rules when you should and shouldn't eat, things like I had such a big breakfast, so I should have a small lunch. Or I've already eaten so much today, I should skip dinner, right? I can't have a black coffee because it's got too many calories. I need to save my calories for the evening just in case I get hungry later. Like if you're doing any of these things, guys, red flag, that one, you have an unhealthy relationship with food. You've got so many rules and restrictions going on in your mindset that you need to learn how to shift and remove so that you can actually start fueling your body correctly for the amount of fuel that you need, and in a way that's absolutely so satisfying for you. Because if you're not left satisfied after your food, then you're always going to be looking for more. This is why so many people are eating, they're feeling full but are left unsatisfied, and then they go on to look for more. So this is why it's so much more complex than just calories in versus calories out. So thank you for being here, you guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next. I'm really actually excited about the next episode because I'm actually going to get Niels onto the podcast, and I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions, and he doesn't know what I'm going to ask him. So it's going to be a bit of fun, a bit exciting, and I'm super excited to hear his reactions. So just as a little pre-teaser, Niels is my partner. We've been engaged now for, I don't even know. Maybe 3 years. Don't hate me, Niels, when you listen to this. But we have been together for 10 years now, and we're actually going to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary in Bali, which is, I'm super excited about it. I've booked a bougie weekend where we're going to do like spa on the cliff in Uluwatu and just eat a lot of good food and just have a really nice time together relaxing. So a bit of context, he should know a lot about me, but we'll see in this next episode. But I'm really going to dive deep into more so what it was like really living with me when I was going through this restriction phase of having a poor relationship with food. Because the reason why I want to share this is with like, you guys, it's like you're absolutely not alone if you're going through stuff like this. And like, I am so grateful for Niels. He's taught me a lot in terms of modeling a healthy relationship with food, but he was also so kind and so patient when I was going through all of my healing stuff. And like, I look back on it now and I was horrible. Like, I used to yell at him when he used too much oil in the food, and I used to get so emotional in and around food. I was so irritable. I was so insecure in my body, and our sex life wasn't amazing. So there was so many elements that was actually affecting me and my relationship. And so what I want to do is I actually want to share Niels's point of view through it. And so you guys, and that's what you got to remember, it's like, you're not just healing your relationship with food and your body for yourself, you're actually doing it for your loved ones. You're actually doing it for the people who are, around you. And I'm like, I think back to myself, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be friends with me if I was just fucking thinking about it, talking about all the food I was eating, the diet that I was that I was on, or having a meltdown when I had eaten too much when I'd gone out. Like, that is so not a vibe. And I say that with so much compassion and love. And if you're struggling with it, like, I see you, and it's so difficult because it's such a mental game rather than anything else. But it's just like, we need to bring awareness to this topic. And if that's the thing that's going to get you to shift and change, I really hope that it can help you do so. So yeah, we're excited for that. We're going to record that now. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Number one challenge that all my clients face before we start working together is a lack of clarity on how much and what to eat to lose weight. Often they are making two huge mistakes: constantly trying to skip meals or eat under 1,600 calories. Secondly, only allowing themselves bad foods like chocolate on the weekend, but end up binging, all to tell themselves they're going to start again on Monday. If you feel like you have tried every diet under the sun and still can't figure out what to eat to achieve your weight loss goals, take my free 2-minute quiz. You can find the link in the show notes down below, and it will help you figure out exactly what you're doing wrong with your nutrition and exercise, and exactly what to do to fix it, so that you can finally be confident in your body and achieve your weight loss goals.